I feel like it's been a really long time since I filmed a video that wasn't the vlog, and I can't figure out how to intro other than telling you what day it is. I mean, it's the 16th of July in case you were interested, but that's completely irrelevant to the point of this video. Hello, welcome to my channel. We are doing a mid-year check-in type video today. I thought it would be fun to go through my goals for 2022 and figure out how I'm doing and what I've accomplished and what I still need to focus on. And on top of that, I want to share my time tracking statistics with you for the year so far. So I'm sort of trying to figure out if the way that I'm spending my time is aligned to what my goals are and if I've been prioritizing things correctly. Now, I'm very familiar with my goals at this point. I look at them very frequently. I know exactly what they are, so it's not like I've forgotten them or lost sight of them at any point. But what I haven't looked at before is my time tracking stats, so I'm gonna be looking at them. I've got my laptop right here and we're gonna be looking at them together for the first time, and you're gonna see my reaction as I see how miserably I've been failing so far. Or not, who knows. I feel like I've been doing really badly these last couple of months, but we're gonna take a look and see how we can do better in the future. So I've set my goals in 3 main categories: writing, art and YouTube. So we're gonna be looking at each of those things in turn, starting with my goals, which are in my fancy bullet journal, and then moving on to the time tracking statistics on my laptop. And before I get any further into this video, I'm gonna scoop a little bit over here so that you can actually see the time tracking statistics, you know, because I'm planning ahead for once. So first up, we're gonna talk about my writing goals, and I just want to mention that there's a very specific reason why I put the goals in that order into my bullet journal. So I specifically took the conscious decision to put writing first, then art, and then YouTube, because at the start of the year when I was evaluating what I wanted to do, that was the order in which I wanted to prioritize things. So now we're gonna look at writing first, which is supposed to be my first priority and therefore supposed to be the thing that I spend the most time in. And just to clarify, I'll do a little comparison of the 3 of them at the end of the video. We're gonna go through them individually first. But yeah, writing goals. I had 4 writing goals. The first one is finishing draft 3 of Project Site. All of these are obviously Project Site related because I don't work on different projects. But this is actually the only goal that I've accomplished in the writing category. I finished the draft at the very end of February, just in time with my deadline, and I vlogged the entire progress if you're curious on seeing that. So far so good, I guess. My second goal was to finish draft 4 of Project Site, so that's the draft that I'm currently working on. And I didn't actually write down a timeline for this in here, so the goal is just to finish it before the year ends, but I was hoping to finish it by the end of July. I can already tell you that's not gonna happen, but I'm still hoping to finish it this year. We'll see what happens. Either way, as of right now, that is not finished. My third goal was to send Project Site to critique partners, which obviously I haven't done yet because I haven't finished the draft yet, but I feel like if I actually finish the draft, that should be fine. That's not gonna take more than a week to prep and send to people, so that's not gonna be a massive problem. They're just sort of linked together, I guess. And then the fourth goal was to start planning out the rest of the series. Project Site is technically a series, although when I mention it, I'm normally talking about the first book, which is the one that I'm writing now. I wasn't planning on doing that until after finishing draft 4, but my fellow authortuber and friend Volissimo actually convinced me that it would be a good idea to start with that before starting on draft 4, so I have done a little bit of progress on this. I haven't ticked it off because I want to get more detailed and do a little bit more work on this before I actually tick it off, but I guess the goal just says to start planning in here, although the goal that I have written down in Notion is actually slightly different to this one because I felt like this one was too vague. So the goal in Notion says to write a vague outline of the series, which I defined as having the start and end point of each of the books. I don't really have that yet, although I've got some of them. It's a work in progress. I'm gonna continue working on it just throughout the year. So I feel like in terms of timelines, we're halfway through the year and I've only gotten one of these goals done. But I don't think we're doing too bad. I think it's gonna be difficult to finish all 4 of these things this year, but it's still feasible, just about, maybe. So let's look at my actual time tracking statistics now, shall we? I'm just gonna quickly filter this so that we're looking at the first 6 months of the year. And that is the work that I've been doing so far. That makes it look like a lot, wow. I need to put this somewhere. Hold on. I guess I'm just gonna hold it. This is fine. I'm always feeling like I'm not doing enough work on a week by week basis. Like, I normally aim to do 15 hours of passion projects, be it writing, YouTube, or art throughout the week. I just noticed that I set those things in the wrong order to what they're in my planner, and that is probably the order in which I'm actually prioritizing them based on just how I feel about how much time I'm spending, so that's interesting. Yeah, like I normally aim for 15 hours a week, and I mean, I'm not doing 15 hours a week consistently, but there's weeks in which I do a bit more, and then there's a lot of weeks in which I do a lot less. Yeah, I think 10 hours a week might be a better aim for me just based on this. This is just my overall statistics, by the way. This is not just for writing. I haven't filtered out yet. But yeah, I haven't looked at this before, so I'm surprised. This area especially, from the start of April, I seem to have started doing really well, and then this week I think was when I was in France, so that's why it's so low. And it seems to have dipped down here at the end of June, which I think I had quite a lot of work stuff going on at the time. Anyway, we'll look at the combined statistics later. So I'm just gonna quickly filter this by project and just ignore the fact that this is called Trilogy Book 1. It's not even a trilogy anymore, it's just still named that. And I'm also not super keen on seeing this per week, so I'm gonna change this to show the stats for the entire year instead, so that it filters it by month. Okay, that's a bit better. Ignore the July stats, that's technically a spoiler for the next 6-month update, I guess. Okay, this is interesting. So I spent quite a lot of time in January working on the book, which makes sense because I had the first week off during my Christmas break, and it was also the start of my 2-month YouTube break, so I took January and February of making videos to focus on finishing draft 3. I'm actually surprised at how much more I did in January than February, seeing how February is when I actually finished the book, and I was really pushing myself at the end of the month. Like, it felt like I was doing a lot, but at the same time I did have a lot of time in January to write because of my holidays, so it does make sense that I spent more time on it. Obviously we did no writing in March. That was by design. I finished the draft, so I was taking a month off in between. The idea in March was for me to prep YouTube content in advance, so that when I jumped into draft 4 in April, I would have some videos lined up and I would be able to focus on writing again. That didn't go to plan exactly. I think I filmed like 1 video and I didn't have time to edit it, so. But yeah, then April, May, June, and of course July, which isn't supposed to be part of this video, I've been working on it less than during January and February. I feel quite good about how high it is for April, but at the same time I did have some Easter holidays in April, so that makes sense. May and June is quite low. Again, June I was in France for a week, so I didn't have quite as much time to write as I would normally. But I feel like just from looking at this, like about 20 hours sounds like a reasonable thing to aim for a normal month, because May was also when May Chaos Rain was going on, so I was dealing with that. But then again, I always have something going on in a month, so it's not realistic for me to expect to be able to have a perfect writing month where I only write. But yeah, I feel like this is quite low compared to where I think I would like it to be, but at the same time I don't know that I can do any better than that, so that's just what it is, I guess. If I scroll further down, I've got this little breakdown of what I actually did during this month. So rewrite 2 is draft 3, which I just called it rewrite 2 when I started, and it's too difficult to change it. I would have to change it on every entry, so that's what we stuck with. I did almost 65 hours of that, so that was during January and February. I've just realized that there's nothing on here about planning the rest of the series, and that makes sense because I did a separate category for that, so let me just quickly add that actually. Right, so this is Project Side Series, and that would have added a couple of hours to April, which is the only month that I was working on that, I think. How did I actually only do 3 hours of brainstorming and outlining on that? It felt like I spent a really long time on it. Anyway, apparently I've done 98% on book 1 and 2% on planning the rest of the series so far this year, so. But yeah, there's only the one thing in there, which is just brainstorming and vague outline. And then, as I was saying, in the actual first book, I spent the majority of the time actually, 45% almost, on draft 3. Okay, so half of the time, but the other half has been spent on the 4th draft, and that was broken down between doing a reread, which took 18 hours. That is insane that it took me 18 hours to read my book. I did not think it was that long. Admittedly, I was taking notes as well, but like, that is a long time to read a book. Then I spent 5.5 hours on doing a revision plan, which this was just organizing the revision plan. Most of the actual planning what changes to make was done during the reread, which is probably why this is so much higher. And then I spent 55 hours revising the book so far. I'm annoyed that I didn't film this video earlier because all of this includes July now, but this is what you get, I'm afraid. It seems strange to me that this is so 50-50 because this draft 3 was only 2 months, while these were 4 months. Just under 4 months. We're halfway through July at the minute. Obviously, I did a lot better when I wasn't making YouTube videos at the same time, which makes sense. Next up, we're gonna be looking at my art goals, and I feel like these are the ones that I've been neglecting the most. I do know what they are, so I don't know why I'm scared to read them, but I'm scared to read them. The first goal I wrote down was to study character design. Specifically, I was thinking of a course by Aaron Blaze that I managed to get on offer a while ago, and I haven't gone through it yet. So I'd really like to do that course, as well as generically looking into character design and analyzing character designs that I want. I'm talking on a visual aspect, by the way. I know that you can also design characters for books. I have not done this. I have not even touched this at all, and it's also been a long time since I drew people, so I've just been really neglecting art lately. The second goal I also have not touched yet, and it is to create in-depth character designs for each of my project side characters. Only the POV characters, not every single character, obviously. I mean, I say obviously, I would like to do that as well at some point, just maybe not this year, like one step at a time. I haven't done this yet, I haven't even started. I do have very specific plans to work on this before the year ends, but I should have done my character design goals by now to uphold those plans, so I am technically behind, but I still think that I'm going to do this. The third goal was that I wanted to do 10 digital paintings of locations based on photos to just practice drawing some different locations and be able to do that better, because I feel like it's not something that I practice very often these days. I chose 10 because I wanted to prioritize finishing draft 3 in January and February. So this was supposed to be 10 as in 1 a month for the last 10 months of the year, which means that now that it's July, I should have finished 5 of them. I've done 1. I've done this one. I'm quite proud of it. I think it's very pretty, but I kind of need to do more than that if I want to reach this. This is probably the goal that I'm least confident that I'm gonna be able to accomplish, because I think I overstretched myself here, setting both character design and backgrounds as a goal for this year. And I think I would rather focus on character design for now and maybe move backgrounds into next year, and not just set like doing 10 studies, but like actually sit down and figure out perspective a little bit better. And not that I haven't tried to do that before, but you know, revisit perspective and figure out texture and painting techniques. And like, I have no idea how to do backgrounds properly. It's not something that I've done a lot, especially digitally, and especially thinking ahead for when I want to do my own book covers, because I would really like to do my own book covers for Project Side. I need to be able to know how to paint backgrounds if I want to do an illustrated book cover that contains a background. So this is kind of an important goal, but one that I don't think I will be getting to. I think if I manage 3 total, so another 2 paintings this year that are backgrounds, and I just focus on character work for the rest of the year, I think I'd probably be happy with that. I think 10 is gonna be too much, considering I want to focus on character stuff. And speaking of the devil, my final goal is actually a stretch goal, and I can already tell you that I'm not gonna be stretching to anything this year. I'm already behind as it is. But this was to start studying book cover design, and it's happening next year, I'm afraid. So let's take my laptop back and take a look at how much I've actually done on this. I'm sort of dreading looking at this a little bit, because I haven't done a lot of art this year, and it's something that I really miss doing. I just haven't been prioritizing it enough, and I would like to make more time for it. I do genuinely miss taking time to actually work on drawings and paintings and studying things, and I feel like I've been very laser focused into getting my novel done, which is good because I want to get my novel done, but I haven't been making time for other creative hobbies as much. and I would like to. But yeah, that being said, let me take a look at how much I've actually done. Maybe I'll surprise myself and it'll be more than I think. I actually have quite a lot of categories for art things in here because I've been adding a whole bunch of them over the years. I haven't done any art commissions this year, so I'm not gonna bother clicking that. Not sure if I even have done anything that counts as art studies. That's normally taking courses, but just in case I've forgotten anything. Digital painting practice, digital painting studies, which I also don't think I've done any. Okay, hand drawing practice. There's also hand drawing practice left hand, which I have a video of that is really old, in which I tried to teach myself how to draw with my left hand when I was having really bad thoracic outlet syndrome in my right hand. I haven't used this category since, and this was 2 years ago, so I'm not gonna bother clicking that. I mean, I haven't done any pixel art practice, but I can click on that anyway. Watercolors, definitely. And that's everything. Okay. So that's 6 different things that we're looking at. Oh my god, that is so disappointing. Jesus Christ. How have I done this little? Okay, well, in January I managed an hour. Well done me. In February, I did literally nothing. In March and April, I managed about 7 hours each, which is interestingly consistent. I don't know how that happened. I think the lighthouse painting was done in April. I can't remember what I did in March. And in May, I managed to do a meekly 50 minutes of art. I do think that I've done a little bit more than I've time tracked here. I was in France in June and did a bunch of watercoloring outdoors, but because it was outdoors, I don't normally track it, so I can probably add around 2 hours of watercolors into June that just aren't here. I mean, I could literally just do that now. Oh god, I've been filming for an hour, Jesus. Just add these into June, and this can go in this category. Oh no. Oh, what are you doing? No, don't do that. No, why? Okay, so now it's showing 2 hours and 1 minute of watercolors for June, which doesn't make it look that much better, but makes me feel a little bit better about myself. So we've done a total of 20 hours this week. Not even 20 hours, 19 hours and 15 minutes. Out of which 66% was digital painting. I think most of that was that lighthouse painting. Let's take a look. Actually, a very big chunk of this was the Chaos Queens batches that I did for May Chaos Rain. I did not realize I had spent the whole 8 hours and 20 minutes on that. And actually that explains why most of the time is in March and April, because that's what I was doing. I think. That doesn't make any sense. I didn't do those in March. Okay, well, I've got no idea what I was doing in March, but most of this was in April and the start of May, I think. Then I've got this environment study, which was the lighthouse painting, which took just under 3 hours. And then on top of that, I have... This was when I got the new program, Clip Studio Paint, when I also got my new drawing tablet, and I just did like a quick practice portrait. And I also have this 2 unfinished projects that I started and never got around to finishing. Okay, then for hand drawing practice, I have... Oh, these are the cute little pumpkin illustrations that I did for Wallace. That took about an hour. I did a random portrait. No context, it's probably just a sketchbook thing, I'm assuming. 15 minutes of people practice. This was something that I told myself I was gonna do every day. I've done 15 minutes this year. And a bamboo sketch, which was just a little sketchbook doodle. And then watercolors was actually coloring in the illustrations that I did for Wallace and the outdoor watercolor that we just added to the list, so that's about 4 hours total. God, I have not done any art so far this year. Okay, this is definitely something we need to work on. I want to do more people practice because 15 minutes is not an acceptable number of people practice for someone that wants to study doing character art at some point soon. And yeah, just in general, I want to pick up my sketchbook more often. And then the other obvious thing is that I really want to do more digital art because I got this fantastic new tablet from Skeek and it's amazing and I love it so much and I just haven't made time to use it. So I want to use it more. And I say that knowing full well that I am going to Spain in 2 weeks, so I'm not going to be doing any digital art for most of August. But after August, I would like to use it, please. Right, so moving on to the final category. This video is getting pretty long, I am so sorry. My first YouTube goal this year was to make 20 videos, and this was supposed to be an alternative to having a very strict upload schedule of every 2 weeks, I figured 20 videos was about right for the same rate of making stuff, but with enough flexibility to let me focus on other projects if I felt like it. And this was also taking into account the 2-month break that I took at the start of the year. So obviously I haven't done 20 videos yet. I don't actually know how many I have done. Let me take a look. We're at 9, and that's actually really not bad. I mean, it is July, so we're not halfway through the year. But considering I took January and February off, like, I'm before the halfway point, but I'm almost halfway through my goals. So I feel like I'm really doing really good on that. I'm further along than I expected to be. The next goal is to experiment with more video types. And out of those 9 videos, 7 of them are vlogs. So I feel like I'm miserably failing at this. I don't really know what I was expecting by different video types, to be honest, but I mean, does this count? I don't do a lot of sitting down videos sharing time tracking, so I guess it's technically a different type of video. Yeah, I feel like I'm not really on track for this one, but I also haven't defined it in a very specific way, so I don't really know what I would count or not. Next up, I've got to get more efficient at editing, which includes getting better hardware, which I did at the start of the year. I finally have my own computer, and it is so much better and faster than editing on a laptop, and it makes my life so much easier. Nothing crashes. I can actually do things and not have to wait a million years for things to load. It's wonderful. I love it so much. The other 2 things that I've got under this category was to learn a new software, which is DaVinci Resolve. I've wrote the wrong name on here, so ignore the screenshot of that. And to learn and use keyboard shortcuts, which I have been doing. I feel like I could take this off, but at the same time I feel like I'm still learning. Like, every time I make a video I try and pick up some new techniques and figure out how to edit a little bit better every time, so I don't think I want to take this off until the end of the year because I want to continue doing that. And then the final one is learn about audio editing and figure out how to improve my sound quality in future videos, which I've been trying to. I've learned how to actually compress the audio in my videos and do some sound level editing to make it not like jump all the time and that sort of thing. I feel like I could still be doing a lot better at this. I don't like what my videos sound like, and I want to put more effort into that, so I'm not taking it off yet, even though we've made some progress on that. So let's look at how we're doing. So if I get rid of all of this, and fortunately for YouTube I only actually have 1 category. I've been time tracking streaming as a separate category for YouTube, but also I don't have any streaming related goals. They're all strictly video making related because that's what I like my channel to focus on, even though I also stream for fun. So I'm not gonna pull up my streaming statistics, but we're gonna look at just YouTube. Keep things simple. I did know that I was doing a lot more YouTube than art. I was hoping that at least I'd be writing more than doing YouTube. That's not the case, apparently. I didn't do any in January and February, which helps, because that's when I was taking that break. But March and April, I did like 33 hours. Then May was a bit better. I only did 15 hours. I think that's because I had a bunch of content pre-filmed from April. I also did a lot of streaming in May for May Chaos Reign, so I think I was compensating by putting less time into YouTube. June we managed 20 hours, and I've done very little in July so far, but that's because we're at the start of the month and I've been trying to do the bulk of my video editing at the end of the month. So I think most of this that you can see there is me filming this video right now. I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I am attempting to spend the first 21 days of the month focusing on my book, and then the final 10 days focusing on video making, editing the vlog for the month, as well as making other content that I can put up. And that has been working really well for me, I think. I don't always follow that rule. For example, right now I didn't feel like writing, so this is what we're doing instead. But yeah, clearly I'm still spending so much more time on YouTube than on writing, which is not good. Like, I don't know what the statistic is gonna be like for the whole period, because January and February will even it out a bit, but on an actual month-to-month basis I feel like I'm spending too much time on video editing, which sucks because I also feel like I'm not making enough videos and I'm not spending enough time polishing the videos that I am making. So really the problem is I want to do everything and I want to increase the amount of time that I put on everything, but I don't have that much time in the day. Oh god, I've done 103 hours. I can't remember how much I said for writing, but I don't think it was that much. I've just realized that there's a couple of spoilers for upcoming videos in here, and it's not actually very interesting because my tags for YouTube are a mess, so we're not gonna go into what each of those things are. But 103 hours on making and editing YouTube content, not including streaming. I can add streaming just to take a look. Oh god. Okay, so it's 103 hours for actual YouTube videos and 35 hours for streaming. This is a lot of time I'm spending on this. So I'm just gonna quickly pull up the Toggler statistics for every single project again, now that I've changed it into month by month rather than weekly. And wow, I did a lot of stuff in April. This is a bit of a mess because of how many categories I have, so we're gonna do the best we can. But, this is nice. I spent 45% of my time working on my book, which is more than the 33% that I'm spending on YouTube, although it is, if you combine YouTube and streaming, about the same, so 45% here and 44% for YouTube. I did say I didn't want to count streaming, so I guess I can take the accomplishment for this. And I can't remember how much art I said I'd done. This is gonna be difficult to figure out from here because I have so many extra categories and it only shows you the biggest ones, but I think I said 20 hours, which is 7%? Just under 7%. So that's way less than the 33% that I'm putting onto YouTube. I don't really know what conclusion I should draw from this other than I'm spending too much time editing videos and I need to be less of a perfectionist all the time. I mean, I already knew that. I didn't need to make this video to find that out. I guess seeing how little time I'm actually spending on art was eye-opening, and I definitely want to be trying to do a little bit more. I might challenge myself to do like 15 minutes of drawing people in my sketchbook per day just for a couple of weeks to see if that gets me back into the swing of things, because I do feel really rusty at the minute, and the less art I do, the more intimidating it is to get back into it, even though I'd really like to. I do think that this is gonna flip around a bit towards the end of the year, because once I do give my draft to beta readers, I am planning on doing a couple of art projects and putting my draft aside, and I'm not gonna work on a different draft, so I'm just gonna be working on art for a couple of months, and that's gonna be really fun and I'm really looking forward to it. And I guess the only other thing is spend less time video editing. We already know this, but we still do this. I'm really happy that I've done more writing than video editing this year though, because that definitely was not the case for last year. I did not make a video like this last year. Do you want to see how much I did last year? Let me take a look. This is interesting. Just a very quick comparison to last year. I do not want to get into these in detail, but okay, I did 25% of bookwork and 41% of video editing. Holy shit, 320 hours of video editing last year. What the hell? I guess at least I've gotten better at doing a bit less of that and more writing work. Also, I'm very impressed I managed to do 200 hours last year. Okay, that is enough. I'm gonna stop looking at my stats now and actually do an outro. Thank you so much for watching this video. I don't know how long it's going to be, but apparently I've been filming for over an hour, so good luck future me for when I edit this. Feel free to like and subscribe if you aren't already. I clearly spend way more time than I should on making videos, so I always appreciate that, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. See you soon.